And I'm Alicia Cheek with NCDA Headquarters. And on behalf of the National Career Development Association, welcome to NCDA's webinar series. We are pleased that you have joined us. Before I turn it over to Diana Bailey, I want to share some technical information for you. During the webinar, your microphone will be muted. We encourage any questions to be typed into the chat section, which can be found on the lower section of your screen. Please make sure you select to send your chat to all participants. Our presenters will address those questions at the end of the presentation. Individuals who have signed up for the webinar can log into their account on the NCDA website to view their CEU certificates beginning next week. Groups that are attending will need to return their sign-in sheets to me in order to receive their certificates. This program is approved for 1 contact hour of continuing education. For any questions on continuing education, please contact me, Alicia Cheek, at NCDA Headquarters. My contact information was included in your webinar instructions message. And I will now turn it over to Diana Bailey to introduce today's presenters.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Career Development Month. I think it's so exciting that we are having this event with our partners through DOL during the beginning of March, during the beginning of November, and Career Development Month. So I just wanted to mention, as you may know, I'm the chairperson of the Government Relations Committee. So we've been working with a number of our government partners, including DOL. So when we met last spring, this was an opportunity that DOL brought to us as with something that NCDA would be interested in. And fortunately, of course, we are. And so now I understand we have about 70, 75 NCDA members on the line. So we welcome you as well. And I do want to introduce our folks, and so let's introduce the DOL team today. So first of all, we have Pam Fragoli, and she's a senior workforce analyst at the U.S. Department of Labor, Employment and Training Administration. She's a federal project officer for the Occupational Licensing Project and the CareerOneStop websites, including the Industry Competency Model Clearinghouse, as well as overall manager for the Occupational Information Network from ONET, which is the suite of occupational information and websites that most of us use. These efforts focus on identifying and disseminating information online about occupational and industry skills and competency profiles, and also encompass related assessments and credentials. This information is used by job seekers, business, educational institutions, and the workforce system. The Occupational Licensing Project also focuses on ways to facilitate access to and portability of that important class of credentials. Welcome, Pam. Next is Dr. Kelly Tanner, and she's the Outreach and Training Manager for CareerOneStop and provides customer support, public outreach, and technical expertise for operations related to the development, usage, and testing of CareerOneStop products. Kelly has an extensive background in training, and she holds several degrees, including a doctorate in business administration. She brings 14-plus years of experience on state and national career information projects and loves getting career information into the hands of people who need it the most. So we welcome you, Kelly, with us today. Our next person is Lauren Fairley, and she has a master's in public administration, and she's a workforce analyst in the Division of National Programs, Tools and Technical Assistance in the Office of Workforce Investment at the U.S. Department of Labor's Employment and Training Administration. She joined the electronics tool, the ONET Competency and Assessment Team, in February of 2008. Hard to believe, but Lauren has over 25 years of experience in workforce development, adult learning, and post-secondary education. Her experience covers a wide spectrum of activities related to workforce development, adult ed, including career counseling, assessment, prior learning assessment, and distance learning. In addition, her background includes 13 years adjunct faculty experience teaching undergraduate, hybrid, and online courses related to career planning at the University of Maryland Global Campus. And last but not least is Michelle Mills, as a program analyst managing the education and youth portfolio in the Department of Labor's Office of Apprenticeship. Prior to joining that office, Ms. Mills worked at the Department of Labor's Bureau of International Labor Affairs as an international relations officer, covering child labor and human trafficking issues in many sub-Saharan African countries and a few countries in Latin America and the Caribbean. She has also acquired experience at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Office of the Secretary, the Office of the Attorney General's Civil Litigation Section in D.C., and a private D.C. law firm. Her professional background includes project management, grants management, contract administration, civil litigation and enforcement, policy development, and arbitration. And I think that you can see by the talent that's on our panel today that the NCDA is so lucky to have this team supporting us and in the future as well. So with that, let's get started, and I'll turn it over to Pam for going. Pam?
Hello. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I am going to talk briefly about ONET, even though I'm going to do the overview here first. We're going to talk about ONET briefly and the companion sites, MyNextMove, and we're going to get a nice, thorough look at CareerOneStop, which has many different features and portals that you may not be aware of. And we're also going to hear from our Office of Apprenticeship and the new site, apprenticeship.gov, that you may not be familiar with, and many of its features. So we're going to start off with ONET Online that I will talk about. I've been working on it for almost 20 years now, which is great. And there's always new developments. So we just wanted to remind you about it and to tell you, that there are things that we update now quarterly. We update the hot technology. So if any of you are working with people interested in IT careers, those kinds of skills are updated once every quarter, and they're based on what is mentioned in job postings. And in addition to adding hot technologies, we also indicate with a little fire icon that you can see in the lower right-hand corner of the screen that indicates ones that are mentioned frequently in job postings. So it's an indicator of in demand. We're often updating the military to civilian crosswalk whenever we have a very close partnership with the Department of Defense. So the site is useful for working with veterans. And I just want to show you a little bit, remind you what the summary report in ONET Online looks like. It's very detailed, so it describes the tasks, technology skills, tools used, knowledge, skills, and abilities, work activities. It has career interests, so you're probably aware that it links to a career interest profiler and underlies that. You may also be interested to know that the tasks and detailed work activities in ONET have been used in a number of studies globally, to analyze the impact of the future of work, what automation is going to do. They've used the tasks in ONET to look at what's automatable and what's not, to figure out which occupations are most likely to be impacted the most. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been used for the World Economic Forum in Davos, and Australia is using it, and it's exciting. So we're always looking at ways to refresh it and to make it more available. We've also been providing a lot of web services through ONET and making it, it's used inside other systems using that. A companion to ONET is the MyNextMove suite. So it's just, sites that are easier for young people or for people with lower reading level. It's not as many technical searches, and then it's also available as a specialized site for veterans and in Spanish. And the report that comes with MyNextMove is a much more colorful, one-page report that's easily printed out. So actually, it's also very useful for if you're trying to compare occupations. You can use just that simple report, and once you finally pick an occupation, there's a link at the very bottom that says go to ONET Online, and it takes you to the exact same occupation. And so then you can get the details for the one that you've finally decided on. So with that, I will turn it over to Dr. Kelly Tenner, who will talk to us about CareerOneStop.
Thank you so much, Pam. This is Kelly, and I am here in beautiful Minnesota today. Not snowing yet, but it will be soon. I have a team with me in the room of my subject matter experts in content and technology and marketing, so if at the end you guys have any questions, I wanted to make sure that I had them here with me to get us through. So, let me just, did you hand me control, Pam?
Yes, mouse over to the left. Here you see the numbers.
There it is. Thank you. All right. So this is the CareerOneStop website. And CareerOneStop has been around for 20 years. We've had many different names: America's Career Kit, ACINet, America's Job Exchange. But CareerOneStop now has become the U.S. Department of Labor's Employment and Training Administration flagship for its career exploration training and jobs information. What we do is leverage all of the data that we can gather from ONET, state labor market information offices, BLS, employment projections data, and we combine and create it into tools that our customers can use to help them find education, training, and jobs. So this is our homepage, and we do a lot of user feedback and user testing to make sure that we take this enormous amount of data that we have and make it easy for all of you to use with your customers and for your customers to use on their own. So there's several different ways in which the organization of the data occurs. Across the top, you can see that there's Explore Careers, Find Training, Job Search, Find Local Help, Toolkit, and Resources. So you can search by information that way, or under the Resources section, you can identify as a specific audience. I'm a career changer, I'm a veteran, I'm a student, I'm a career advisor, and you can identify yourself as that way and get information as well. One of the cool sites that we have is our toolkit. We've combined all of our different tools into this one page. So this is a page that we highly suggest you bookmark because it will get you to our most comprehensive and interesting tools. So this can be found at the top of the site, and here you'll find all of our tools sorted under several different categories: careers, training, skills, jobs, wages, etc. So I'll show you a couple of these specifically, but I wanted you to just make sure that you knew that this toolkit existed and that it was one of our main headings. So the Explore Careers page is the first heading at the top of our site, and there's three main sections within that: self-assessments, learn about careers, and plan your career. And the main tool that we highlight when we talk about the Explore Careers section is our occupation profile. We have occupation profiles for almost 900 occupations, and they're broken down by state, and some of the pieces of data can be broken down by county and even metropolitan area as well. So here's an example of one of our occupation profiles. This is for welders, cutters, and welder fitters, and I just put in a zip code, and it ended up being for an area in Pennsylvania. And you can see that you can't see the whole screen here, but once you get to the website, you'll see that there's 18 different cards of career information. You get a description of the career, a career video, the outlook, projected employment, wages, education requirements, certifications, licenses, apprenticeships, the KSAs, knowledge, skills, and abilities associated with the job, as well as related occupations. So this is a great piece of information for you to use if you want to try to find everything about a certain occupation in a certain area in one place. The next heading that I'll go into is job search. And job search has 6 main sections: plan your job search, networking, how to find jobs, resumes and applications, interviews, and job search tips. And the main tool that we highlight here is the Find a Job tool. So you can put in a job here, anything, accountant, welder, and the location that you want it to find you a job in, and hit search. And the information is going to come up from the National Labor Exchange, which is where all of the different state job banks report their jobs to. So for this example, we put in a CNA in New York. We got, 29,000 job results. And you can see in the source box that says NLX. Another benefit of using our Job Finder tool is that you can also change that drop-down to include America's Job Exchange, Career Builder, or Indeed. So you can complete your job search on all of these job sites in one place without having to flip around and jump around. You can also sort the information by company. You can filter it by location, by date posted. So it's a really easy way for people to look for jobs. The next section I will go into is Find Local Help. And Find Local Help is what used to be known as America's Service Locator. I don't know if some of you that will ring a bell, but what this section does is provides access to various national and state programs, such as unemployment, workforce development programs, employment and training programs. So the main tool that we highlight under the Find Local Help section is the Find an American Job Center. So American Job Centers are the great place where you can go in your city or state to find information on programs in your area. There's almost 1,500 comprehensive AJCs according to whenever I took the screenshot, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago. I don't know if it's still the same, probably pretty close, and 973 affiliates. So you can find all the information for each of these job centers by entering a zip code. So this one we entered in a zip code of 94501, and it's given us 198 American Job Centers in California. Oh, this is the whole state of California, excuse me. So you can find the name, address, phone number, hours, and contact information from each American Job Center. And if you click in further, you can find out information such as, do they have a business rep? Do they have classes? Do they have a veterans representative? Do they have parking? A whole bunch of different sets of information that you can find under the American Job Center Finder. Another tool that we have under local help is our Older Worker Program Finder. So this information is from the U.S. Department of Labor Employment Administration's Senior Community Service Employment Program data, CSEP. And this program helps subsidize part-time workers so that older workers can move to unsubsidized private sector jobs. So what you can do is enter your location, and it'll give you an office in your area that has these types of programs, so people that you're working with who are in this group can help get help finding careers. Another tool on the opposite end of the spectrum is the Youth Committee Finder. So youth committees work under local workforce development boards to guide youth programs and policies in their area. So if you want to find out about what kind of programs are available for you related to youth, you can put in your zip code and it's going to pull up those programs as well. I just click back here to another tool that we have, which is the certification or the Credentials Center, excuse me. Our Credentials Center was built a few years ago to focus on training and credentials, occupation, education, different certifications, different licenses that are available to workers. So you can use this portal to find all those types of information, where anybody can go in any state to get a GED, where you can find which occupations need a license and which don't. All that type of related information can be found under this portal. Another tool that we have that we've been working on for years and really is starting to look great is our career videos. I don't know if you guys remember the New Jersey career videos that were done in the 80s, but we've redone almost all of them now. I think as of July, 519 were done, covering 805 different ONET occupations. So we have a YouTube site that has all the career videos on there, or you can go to our career videos page and find all of these there as well. Another tool that is newer that we want to make sure you guys are aware of is our Skills Matcher. So the Skills Matcher helps you identify careers that match your skills specifically. We know there's interest assessments, we know there's different types of career profile tests you can take, but this one is based specifically on your skills. It has 40 questions, and it will rate, and you yourself rate your level on these skills. It will then go behind the scenes, do some fantastic calculations, and tell you what you should be when you grow up. Or what you should be when you're already grown up, based on what your skills are in that career. From there, you can explore the careers on your list of matches and learn about the different pay, education, job outlook, and everything in that related field. My Skills, My Future is also deemed somewhat of an assessment tool. Several states do require unemployment professionals to come to My Skills, My Future and take advantage of what it offers. So on the My Skills, My Future tool, you enter your current or past job, and it's going to translate the knowledge, skills, and abilities associated to that job to other careers where the same knowledge, skills, and abilities are also required. So it really is helpful for laid off workers and career changers to help them identify, related careers to explore, to learn about their transferable skills, to link them to the local training opportunities that exist as far as certifications and licenses, and also to view and apply for related jobs. Now, My Skills, My Future also has an option that's called Target Occupation. So if you already know what you want to be, you can find the same pieces of data for a specific occupation rather than having the system translate it for you. The next portal that I will talk to you about is called GetMyFuture. And GetMyFuture is a website that was created for young adults. And the goal of this site was to help young adults, typically aged 16 to 24, overcome barriers and plan to achieve success in their career. So you can start out with our main headings. You can do an assessment on this tool. You can figure out where to go to high school, find out where to get work experience, find out how to write a resume, find out where to get training. And it's all geared towards the youth. So there's a lot more pictures, a lot more excitement than just reading through pages of data. A lot of career videos on here, people in different situations and how they succeeded and got past them. So a lot of motivation and interesting stuff in here. Here's a picture of what our interest assessment looks like. The interest assessment, unlike the Skills Matcher, is based specifically on what you are interested in. And what you do is you answer 30 questions and you get the RIA-SCC RIASIC results and careers that fit your interests. So there are two different types of assessments. There's the regular interest assessment on the CareerOneStop site, and we have a version on the GetMyFuture website for youth. Another section we have is for ex-offenders. Ex-offenders have recently been in the spotlight as an audience that we need to figure out how to serve better. And a lot of people are affected by a criminal record in their job search. So CareerOneStop has created this ex-offender portal, and it offers information, tips, and resources to help people with criminal convictions, how they might overcome barriers, state-specific resources that they can use to get help with their basic needs, different work restrictions that apply to certain convictions, and how they might find pay to help them with their training. There's downloadable resources on the left-hand side, so it can be used inside of a facility. And recently, we've launched our Reentry portal. So by simply putting the word Reentry in front of CareerOneStop.org, you can use this entire website within a prison system because all the external links have been disabled. So our team has been working with a lot of different institutions and programs to make this resource a possibility for as many ex-offenders or future ex-offenders as we can. Another audience that we serve is veterans, and this is our Veteran and Military Transition Center. The tool that I find most interesting on here is our military occupation translator. So you can put in a military code and it'll translate those MOC skills over to a civilian occupation, which is something that ONET also does, but with the different tools that we have, I like it on our website as well. But this information is specific to veterans and how they can get back to school and how the different programs that are offered for them and getting back to their job search. And all of this information is available in Spanish. In the upper right-hand corner, you can translate the website and any of the portals from English to Spanish. And yeah, it's pretty great. So I guess this has been a lot of information that I've thrown at you in a very short amount of time, but what we wanted to do is just make you aware of the information. We have social media where you can work with us or get a hold of us. We have a newsletter that we send out quarterly. We have a blog where we do a weekly blog. We have all of the data that is our data available as data downloads. We offer a large amount of API data, so you can take any of this information and incorporate it into your own sites. And all of it is free. So we just want to make sure you know about it. If you have any questions, we're available Monday through Friday. And I think what I will do now is pass it over to Lauren so she can continue talking about the Competency Model Clearinghouse.
Thanks so much, Kelly. And while you are passing the ball to me, Pam Frugally wanted just to chime in for just a quick second.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that one of the other great things about CareerOneStop is that it is available as a mobile app, and all of the sites also, even if you just pull it up in your browser, they're adaptive design, so they, will reshape to like your phone or your tablet or whatever. So if you're working with customers or clients who don't have a computer or a laptop, but they do have a smartphone, then they're able to access it and see it, and interact with it very easily.
Great, Pam. Thanks so much. And so, yes, Kelly has passed the ball to me. And I'm going to just talk just for a quick few minutes about Competency Model Clearinghouse. This is a tool that's actually included in the CareerOneStop suite of tools, so you'll find it on the CareerOneStop site. And career advisors may not look at this particular tool because they may not think it's for them, but I did want to highlight just a few things about the tool today for you to explore and actually to tell you how I use it as well. So really quick, the Industry Competency Model Initiative is part of ETA's effort to foster the development of a dynamic, well-trained, competitive workforce. As part of this initiative, ETA works collaboratively with other federal agencies, industry associations, community colleges, and other subject matter experts to develop and maintain competency models for economically vital industries and sectors of the American economy. So I say all that to say that ETA works with a bunch of different stakeholders to develop competency models for in-demand industries. And when you go to the website, you'll see a couple of different tools and resources to click on. You'll be able to look at all of our 27 competency models for different industries, including those that you see right there on the screen: automation, hospitality, transportation. There are, like I said, 27 models that you can look at. We also have a bunch of user guides for you to explore, and there's one specifically for career advisors. So here's some information about what we consider to be a competency, and it's basically knowledge, skills, and abilities. And we collect information from the industry about different levels of those knowledge, skills, and abilities. We have foundational competencies, which are things like personal effectiveness competencies, and then academic competencies. You know, on top of that, that's what we consider our foundation. And then for tiers 4 and above, those are specifically industry related. So, as I mentioned, this is a tool that a career advisor might pass by, but I did want to give you some, you know, information that you'll be able to go back and use, hopefully, with your clients. So basically knowing the knowledge, skills, and abilities in specific industries or occupations can help you assist your customers or clients in making informed career decisions. And when looking at those knowledge, skills, and abilities, you can help your clients identify any particular gaps they may have, especially related to the industry. So on tier 4 of the competency models, you're going to have the industry competencies, industry-specific competencies, and that's a great place for you to take your customers or clients to look at so that they can see, for that particular industry, what are some of the competencies that are needed. And if they have some missing competencies, you can talk to them about training and education to get those particular competencies. It's also a great way to gauge their work readiness in terms of competencies. Those foundational tiers 1 through 3, will help you work with your customers or clients to kind of assess, you know, the competencies that they may have related to personal effectiveness or academic competencies. And you can suggest relevant education or training opportunities. There's even a way for you to come to this particular website and look at the related links and resources so that you can connect your customers and clients to professional associations, find out more information about credentials related to that field, and help your students or your clients or your customers kind of plan or create a career plan or an educational plan using information from the Competency Model Clearinghouse. So just really quick, tier 1 is where the personal effectiveness competencies are. And I just want to show you a quick little exercise that you can do with your customers or clients. Have them look at tier 1, the personal effectiveness competencies, and then begin talking to them about preparing for an interview. So if they were doing interview prep, they would look at those particular competencies and begin to talk about, you know, examples that display or that demonstrate that they have those competencies. And this, a lot of times, people will call this behavioral or competency-based interviewing. So again, a little nugget about the Competency Model Clearinghouse that you might not think about as a career advisor, but a great place to help your clients prepare for interviews. So there's also a user guide specifically for career advisors. And there's a link there for career exploration and guidance. And use that link to find out more about how you might use competency models to work with your customers and clients. If you have any questions, you can use the CareerOneStop toll-free number right there. And then we also have a Department of Labor toll-free helpline. And with the toll-free helpline takes questions about pretty much everything that we do here at the Department of Labor. So they'll connect you with the right office. So with that, I think I'm going to turn things over to Michelle Mills.
Thanks, Lauren. Hi, everyone. Again, Michelle Mills. I'm in the Office of Apprenticeship. And today I'm going to present on our new website. I say new because it's only probably almost 2 years old. And so this apprenticeship.gov website, I'm just going to give a little background as to why ETA decided to develop this site. So in 2017, the President issued an executive order on expanding apprenticeships in America, which really instructed the federal government to work on boosting and expanding apprenticeship opportunities to all, from the secondary to the post-secondary level. And so one of the charges that we received was to really create one hub where we would store all things apprenticeship. Now, we have a lot of sites that do work-based learning and training, but the administration wanted something that was specifically only focused on apprenticeship in light of this executive order to expand and boost apprenticeship opportunities. So the apprenticeship.gov website, when you pull it up, the first page just says it's your one-stop source for all things apprenticeship. And again, this is directed by looking at the executive order and wanting to have one hub on apprenticeship opportunities. When you go to the site, it has a lot of information there for career seekers, employers, educators, and the like. And we're still developing it. It's somewhat in its beta phase right now. So we're looking to develop other elements, but immediately as you go to the site, you can see the job section there where folks could put in a zip code and they can see all the apprenticeship opportunities in that area. Another great thing about this tool and as a career advisor is that we really define apprenticeship because we found that there are quite a few different definitions and takes on apprenticeship. And so we wanted to make sure that we were clear about that. When students come to you and say, what does this mean? Is it a job? Does it help me to get into a career? Going to this site, we define it for you. Define the 5 elements that it provides on-the-job training, that it also requires related technical instruction, it's paid, you receive a mentor, and of course, right there, one of the most important aspects of this is that you receive a credential, an industry-recognized credential for the work that is done. Another thing that we've added to the site is a benefits page, and this is really for folks to click on and figure out how can apprenticeship really benefit me in terms of career advancement, in terms of degree portability, in terms of getting paid or the hands-on career training opportunities. So we go in and we dive into that because that's one of the questions that we get a lot from career advisors and as well as career seekers who are trying to figure out their next move in life. Going back up one. So another page that we have is very specific to industry because a core element of an apprenticeship program is that you have a business partner, someone who's actually hiring, because as we mentioned, there's a paid component and there's also on-the-job training. And so we recognized we needed to partner with industry to get information from them about apprentice-level occupations. What are they looking for? What type of jobs do they envision for the future? So this page really is to appeal to them to participate in, to say, okay, if you're in the energy sector, we're thinking that we can grow this specific field by adding a new occupation in apprenticeship. Or these are the challenges that we're having in making this apprentice-level. And so it creates that community where industry folks can go and share the information about these apprentice-level occupations. Another resource similar to giving industry information, we also give the apprentice information, how to become an apprentice. I think this is really helpful for career advisors because if a student comes to you and you yourself or you're not as familiar with apprenticeship in general, we put the information there. We answer a lot of questions about the occupations, about the opportunities for students. It also links to Apprenticeship Finder, which I will get into later, to show them where opportunities are in their specific local community. So that segues into the listing of apprenticeship opportunities. Here, folks can go in and find out where there's an apprenticeship in their local area. It also gives employers an opportunity to post apprenticeship job listings. So, for example, if they have a career website, they could put a link there and or folks that work on the apprenticeship site can populate the website to show that apprenticeship opportunity. Equally so, if they don't have a career website, they can also populate and just put information about the apprenticeship opportunity so that it can be shown on our website. So that's an area where the employer goes to list on opportunities. And many times, too, what we're finding is that colleges, universities, they also are the sponsors of apprenticeship programs, meaning they can list opportunities as well. Sometimes colleges will partner with an employer that's doing construction, for instance, and say, hey, as a part of this agreement with our college, we want you to hire some apprentices. That college can go in and list those apprenticeship opportunities on this website as well. So just to segue into that, that feeds into our apprenticeship finder, our job posting category. And this tool is very unique because it not only shows what's in the zip code per se, but you could also put in a specific occupation nationwide to see what is out there to get a feel. So if you're thinking and a student comes in and says, oh, I want to go into trucking, but I don't know if that's an occupation that will really be transferable to other states, you could put in trucking, enter, and you could look at apprenticeship opportunities across the United States for trucking or transportation and logistics. And so, again, just going back to the industry part of things and connecting to universities and colleges, as I mentioned, a college could be a sponsor, not just a regular business. We also go into detail on how to create and run an apprenticeship program at your institution. So we have a lot of handy tools as to how to build an actual apprenticeship program. We also have a partner finder to help people find resources and partners when they want to design an apprenticeship program. We also have an educator page that is very specific to the education community, career advisors as well. And here's a screenshot of the high school and middle school page. And it talks about youth apprenticeship programs targeting 16 to 24, that age group. So, for example, I notice people are like, what? Why is middle school there? This year, for the first time, we partnered with Scholastic Magazine, and we developed these magazines' take-home guide for children, for teachers, in-class activities to kind of talk about apprenticeship opportunities. So trying to introduce apprenticeship at an earlier stage. We also have a high school fact sheet, guides on their toolkits, and videos just from the student apprentice explaining the experience. So if you're a career advisor and you go to this page, you have lots of information to share with a potential student apprentice. Likewise, we also have the employer page, which goes through all the benefits for the employer, specifically on retention of employees, diversity, and how to really understand the benefit of an apprenticeship in terms of the return on investment for them as an employer. So, you know, there's lots of information there on, for example, state and local resources for employers. A question that comes up sometimes on workers' compensation, if you're talking about an insurance, child labor laws, different things of that nature, if you're talking about the youth apprenticeship program. So lots of resources are on that page to help the employer as they think through benefits of an apprenticeship and how to tackle developing a program. Then we have our resources page, which has a lot of data on apprenticeship to show across the country all the industries and the occupations that are in high demand for apprenticeship. And lastly, we have our FAQs, where we answer a lot of questions there. And then we have our apprenticeship news that's populated with all things apprenticeship across the country that's happening, hot topics. We also have a Contact Us page that where you can just go there and we'll get back to you if you have any questions on apprenticeship. And lastly, I just want to mention the National Apprenticeship Week that we have, which is November 11th through the 17th. And if you have any, you want to participate in a National Apprenticeship Week program to get insight into apprenticeship, this is where you would go to find out if there is an event near you where people are talking about apprenticeship, connecting with other career advisors to learn about apprenticeship. So I would just encourage you to go there and see the activities that are happening next week for National Apprenticeship Week. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much to Pamela, Kelly, Michelle, and Lauren for your very quick overview. I know for the participants here today, I'm very familiar with their sites, but it's a lot of information, I know that. But this is the time we've got some questions. And I think the most important thing is to think about you just need to go back and walk through these sites so that you can get to know them better. So let's go back to the top. I know that Eugenie had a couple questions, and it is there a resource on the site focused on college graduates and how to go from your college major to the job title? I don't know if this is for you, Kelly, or maybe who would like to answer that?
I don't know that there's anything specific from going to a college graduation to a job, but I mean, the job search finder does have keyword, you can search by keyword. So if you have a degree in communications, you could do a job search for the word communications and see all the different things it brings up. You could also do different occupational profile searches by communications to see what type of careers come up, what the salaries are, what the projections are, and just do a little bit of research. That we've talked about tools that would do something like that, but it's not been completed yet.
Yeah, so and also in Own It Online, you'll see that there's a search on the right that says crosswalks, and one of those is an education crosswalk. So it actually is from, the classification of instructional programs, which is the federal classification for college majors and post-secondary programs. And so you can do that crosswalk search, and it will show you related occupations.
Great, thank you. And to Eugenie's second question, how do you sign up for the newsletter? The Career One Stop newsletter, I think she's talking about.
The Career One Stop newsletter, if you go to CareerOneStop.org and scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, you'll see in the footer that there's a news center. And if you click on Career One Stop News, there is a sign up right on the left-hand side.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, let's now move down to Wendy McWilliams' question, and this one I think probably is going to Michelle, but is the apprenticeship.gov program geared specifically to students? And also, if so, what are the requirements to qualify? Or where would they find that information?
Great question. Thanks for that. So apprenticeship.gov is geared towards the student, the educator, and the industry person. So it's really geared towards those three main participants who engage in an apprenticeship. So if you go to apprenticeship.gov, there is a link there for students who are looking for apprenticeship opportunities. There's a link for educators who are looking to how can I advise a student on how to participate in an apprenticeship because it's a job. There's also a link there to help employers as to how can I build out an apprenticeship opportunity, work with colleges, work with students to give them this job opportunity. So it's a site that provides all of this information, I would think, for all these three different sets of people, students, employers, as well as the education community.
Well, and another emphasis is veterans. Our Veterans Employment and Training Service here in the Department of Labor is working to help people transition out of the military into civilian careers through apprenticeships. And it can be really good for dislocated workers because because you get paid while you're retraining, you know, it's a way not to lose income if you're laid off and you want to retrain and you need to retrain for another career apprenticeship. So you don't have to be a student. You can be any kind of job seeker.
Yes.
So that probably speaks to Wendy's clarification question when she was asking, are apprenticeships not for non-students, somebody trying to get into an industry who is not a student or a recent student? So I think that's what you were just speaking to, that could be any job seeker. Great.
Any
Wendy,
job,
thanks
right,
for asking that clarification.
Any job seeker. I think for apprenticeship, we tend to say student because there is an education component that's attached to an apprenticeship. So even though you're not, you know, a student per se, you still have to take classes. That's a part of an apprenticeship. We call it the related technical instruction. So it's not just the on-the-job, the work that you're doing, but you have to take classes to build up the competency in that specific field. So eventually that person, in essence, becomes a student at some point while they're in the apprenticeship program.
Right. Apprenticeship is the ultimate in lifelong learning.
Exactly.
Right, great. And I just wanted to make sure that we covered Wendy's question, and the part of the apprenticeship.gov you mentioned, are also the requirements to qualify posted in there, or are they someplace else?
Yes, the apprenticeship.gov website shows you what you need as the basic minimum to enter into an apprenticeship program. So before we mentioned the page that how do you become a student apprentice, for example, there's a page that I showcased that has resources for prospective apprentices. And that page tells you what you need to do to become an apprentice or join an apprenticeship program. A lot of times, you also have what you call pre-apprenticeship programs that help people get into apprenticeship. So in the slide deck, it says resources for prospective apprentices. We go back to that slide, then folks can click on that link, and it will have information on how they can, there we go, how they can sign up.
Okay.
That's
and also
right
on this page, Michelle, does it say, I know each state often has an apprenticeship liaison, so does that list the state resource at the State Department of Labor? Is that on that page or someplace else? I don't know what state Wendy lives in, but
that's how somewhere else. So what you're talking, because we have a bifurcated system of federal and state apprenticeship agencies, and that information is not ported over yet to the website. But on our regular DOL.gov, we have a map that shows all the states, and folks can contact state representatives.
I think you can find it under partners also. If you
The
put
partner finder.
Yeah. And then you put in a state, you'll see partners for the state.
Right, for that specific state, but not a map of everything. You have to drill down to that specific state. That's right. Yeah.
Right, good. Okay, so does that answer your question, Wendy? And for those of the other participants that are here, are there any other questions for our panel before we go? Wendy's happy, so I'm glad. Thanks, Wendy. I always like to make sure people get their questions answered while I have such a talented panel with us. Any other questions before I turn it back? I see the slide is up as a reminder, of course, of our NCDA conference in Minneapolis, and we know that the folks from CareerOneStop will be there, as they always are, and we're hoping to have some of our DOL partners as well. We had hoped to have the apprenticeship folks there last year, but unforeseen circumstances happened, and so hopefully we'll have additional people that will be in Minneapolis this year. So I wanted to especially thank the team again, and I've used these resources a lot, but every time I see them, I learn something new, or there's something that's been added. So we wanted to thank DOL and ETA for your attention to the field, because these are important resources and you're making them accessible. And for the NCDA members that are on the line, I just wanted to mention that Dr. Janet Wall and I, we do serve as a volunteer member on the Career One Stop Advisory Board, and they've been very responsive to our questions or concerns. I know I do a lot of work working with returning citizens and folks with a background in criminal justice, and that website has gotten so much better over the last couple of years. So they really are focused on practitioners as well as the clients or students that you see. So we appreciate that very much as well. So last chance, I don't see any other questions, and thank you again for your time this afternoon, and thank you so much.
Diana?
Yeah,
Diana?
go ahead. Yes. Yes.
Janet Bear indicated in the chat that she had several questions and they aren't showing up. So I'm wondering if
Reentry.
Is there any way that we can try to find the questions from Janet Bear?
This is Alicia at NCDA headquarters. I'm seeing a few of them pop up. They were in the question and answer pane instead of the chat. There's two different windows there, but here's a couple that I'm seeing. One says, are the jobs included under Explore Careers based on SOC or ONET codes?
They're coded to those codes.
I think they're coded to ONET codes.
Yes.
Yeah, ONET codes. I just confirmed with my team.
Great. One, is there a basic chart that shows how ONET, MyNextMove, and CareerOneStop are related? How can I help clients decide which one to use?
Really, the ONET is just the career information, right, and some links. And like MyNextMove, I think is a nice, simple place to start with people because it doesn't have so many options. But when you are actually then looking for services or actual information on like how to interview, how to write a resume, how to write a cover letter, that's when you need to switch to CareerOneStop because it's got all the how-tos and all the links to like, I want to go to an American Job Center or I want information on transportation or food stamps or something. You know, it has all those other links. So that's what I would recommend, you know, depending on what your client is looking for and, you know, what their level of sophistication is and how long they've been doing this. So, and I think ONET Online is very useful for when you're trying actually to write a resume and you want to make sure that you include things in your resume. You know, you review the really lengthy, detailed ONET information that's only available in ONET Online and pick out things and you say, oh, yes, I did that, and I'm going to put that in my resume in some form. You know, I'm going to say how my work experience shows that I have that competency. But no, there isn't actually. What I just said is not in a document anywhere, so maybe that's a good technical assistance tool that we can think about. Thank you for the suggestion.
Good.
Here's one
Alicia,
more.
can you see other questions? Yeah, great.
Yes, there's one more that I'm seeing. This one says, we received a note saying that apprenticeship will no longer be offered on CareerOneStop. Will apprenticeship.gov contain that information?
Apprenticeship.gov will definitely be the place to go for all information related to apprenticeship.
And CareerOneStop links out to it. It's just that there's a real emphasis on making that the one-stop shop for apprenticeship, and so all of our sites, ONET and CareerOneStop, both point to apprenticeship.gov.
All right. Are there any other last-minute questions before we have to say goodbye? I don't see any more that have come through. On behalf of NCDA, thank you to our presenters today, and thank you everyone for attending. As I said, the webinar was recorded. The recording link as well as the PowerPoint slides will be emailed to everybody later this week, and then CEU information will be included in that email as well.
Great.
Well, thanks, everyone, and thank you, Alicia, for setting this all up for us and making sure it worked well for us today.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Have a great afternoon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.